Okay, everyone. Welcome to the winners round one. Marc Farnsworth, Darren Appleton. This match is obviously on sort of the second stream table. There's Malin against Singleton on the other stream. Possibly a bit of a controversial decision whether to have, not to have this match on the main arena table. My opinion, this probably should have been on the arena table, but they decided to put the Malin game on. I think last time Singleton and Malin played, Singleton won, so they expect that to be a good game also. I think my choice would have definitely been this match to go on. I did commentate on Appleton's first match on the TV table, and one of the things that I did comment on was that he was using his American cue to break with, and he didn't really have any success with it, and he moved to his actual just playing cue and started cut breaking. And I noticed there first break he actually gone back to the American cue, and there isn't any tables to practice here, so I'm not really sure why he's gone back to that, but he chose to go back to the American cue. So maybe a little bit of a strange decision there for Marc to go yellows, and certainly the ball he took first. Sort of got a little bit of work to do now, although he potted that just off the knuckle. Welcome into the commentary box with me, Ireland's finest, #1, Ronan McCarthy. He's a bit of a tough day today, mate. Lost your first match, and obviously double elimination, you're still in, but obviously not ideal and a long way back being in the loser's side.
Yeah, it is. To be fair to Jordan, he played super. He didn't really give me anything to go at all, so fair play to him. He deserved this win, and hopefully he'll go on and do well.
Yeah, and it's one of those, isn't it, when sometimes when you come off the table having not really done anything wrong, it definitely is a lot easier than coming off the table when you've made a load of mistakes. It is a little bit easier to take.
Yeah, well, I made a couple of mistakes, a couple of sort of half chances, but he didn't really do anything wrong, so one of those matches he was getting sort of, he got the best of the chances and they took him, so fair play to him. Good start for Marc. I would agree with you. I thought he should probably have took the red balls there, and he went for what I thought was the hardest sort, and he got them. So it's certainly a good start.
Yeah, apologies. I can just see the live chat now. And apologies for that. Ronan's headset wasn't turned up properly. So yeah, I just started off there by saying that Ronan had a tough start in this tournament, and obviously lost his first match. Obviously losing your first match isn't ideal, but it is double elim, so you know you are still in the event, even though a long way back in the other side, but it is doable. Phil Harrison won one of these events from losing his first match, and all you can do now, Ronan, is obviously just basically take one frame at a time, one match at a time, and see where it goes.
That's it. That's all you can do. I'm still not out of it. I've been playing okay, and I think if I keep playing good solid pool, I can still get through. All you need to do is get through to the last day, and you have a chance. So hopefully get a bit of a run going and get back into it. But like you said, it's a long way back, but I'll give it a good go tomorrow.
So I was just saying, Ronan, that oh, lucky not to going off there. Yeah, I was just saying about the break there, Ronan. I commentated on Daz's first match against Darren McVicker on the stream table, and he's I think probably his first 4 or 5 breaks he broke off using his Predator American cue to break. He had no success with it. I personally think he was hitting it a little bit too soft, but either way, he wasn't making any balls. And he then switched to the cut break using his actual playing cue and had a lot more success. First frame here, he'd gone back to the American cue and broke off front ball and had no success again. So I'm not really too sure why the decision was to go back to the American cue. But obviously in this match, I think the break is going to be a deciding factor.
Well, you're probably asking the wrong person about breaking there, so I'll set that one out.
And also what I said of Appleton's last match against Darren McVicker was he did look a little bit edgy in his interview afterwards. You know, I sort of made a comment saying he did look a little bit fish out of water because obviously he isn't playing any English 8-ball, and the reason he got back into the match was through Darren McVicker missing a lot of chances, and that won't happen here.
Was Darren ahead in that match?
He was, yeah, Darren McVicker was ahead, and then he missed quite a few chances, and Daz played well towards the back end of the match, but he only sort of played well, you know, because he sort of got let back into it really, and that certainly won't be happening here with Farnsworth. A prime example there, the balls were a little bit scrappy, and Marc's way too clever and way too clued up to go chasing any finishes. So this is one of the few tactical frames that I've seen at these rules, and when I say tactical frame, it isn't really a tactical frame. It's almost like an open fudge frame where you're just trying to maneuver your balls into position and basically not leave your opponent a shot on theirs. There isn't a tactical side in the sense of covering pockets, because that's no good to you at these rules.
Is it still open? Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was still open. They both just played 2 safety shots each from the break.
He was probably trying to take reds there and use the top ball to free the other one.
Yeah, so he's played the red into the left corner, and he knows that he's got 2 obviously problem reds, but the top one obviously passes into the right corner, and that's the perfect ball to kick his bad ball out. Probably even more perfect if he could get on it in a way where he could pot it into the middle and go into him. Is perhaps a better angle for the cue ball to be going into the cluster of 3 yellows and the red. Because I think if you pop the red into if you can get on it to a way where you can pop the red into the middle and you can get the cue ball to hit that gap of the 2 yellows, I think that does free the red.
Play the double here?
It's an option. Yeah, play the double and screw into the yellow. It's definitely an option. We're sitting sort of right behind that shot, and he has got the perfect angle to play that shot if he wants to. Good shot.
Great shot.
Very good shot. And if you notice, the white did hit that gap of the 2 yellows that I was talking about, and that pushed the red onto the other yellow and essentially pushed the red to there. played up this side of the table as a choice of 2 reds. One thing I will say with Appleton, Ronan, is you know, he obviously didn't play well his first match there, you know, but that's done. You know, he got a win and that's it. But one thing with him is he certainly won't play worse in this tournament. He'll only improve, and obviously being, you know, a great 8-ball player, and you know, he is one of the all-time great 8-ball players. You know, he even when he's playing bad, he does find a way to win.
Yeah, well, the further he goes in the competition, the better I'll get, because he's just coming off a 9-ball match against the USA, so it's very hard to adjust just inside a day.
And I said to him about that in the interview that, you know, I thought that was a bit of a strange decision to do that, and he agreed and said that he almost cancelled the day before because he knew it was the wrong decision, but he was already committed to playing it, so that's why he did play.
It's definitely not ideal preparation for something like this. But like you say, that he might grow into the tournament. He's certainly he's good enough if he can just get a few wins under the belt and get a bit of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I think any bad performance that's going to come from him, I think, will be within the first few rounds. I think once he gets past then, I think he'll have sort of got to grips with the cue ball. And
there's the white
so that's
again.
2 breaks, 2 and offs.
American cue.
With the American cue again. I don't understand why he switched back to that after having success with the other one.
I would think that'll be the last one. He's not going to persevere with it, I wouldn't think.
But that does go down as an unforced error, as a bad shot, whatever you want to call it on the statistics. That does go down as a bad shot because he did stun straight off and off into the middle, which means he hit the front ball, half ball, instead of full ball. And that's one advantage you would think, Ronan, with the big tip on the 9-ball cue. You could find the middle of the cue ball a bit easier.
You would think so, yeah.
So I'm a bit surprised he's gone in off the front ball, off both breaks.
If he keeps leaving Marc the ball in hand at the start of every frame, he's gonna struggle to get any frames on the board.
Yeah, because I think it's a bit of a sort of a bit of a known sort of thing that a lot of the top players say, that hand on the table, that, you know, Marc Farnsworth is one of, if not, you know, the best player around at the minute. And what I mean by hand on the table is, you know, if all things were equal and you took the break away and it was everyone had the same chance at the same finishes with his hand on the table, when he's actually going for the finish, there isn't too many better.
No, I would agree with that. I know he hasn't got the best break in the world, and that's why when he comes up against some of the other top players, the Hibbets and Marshes, they will out-break him. But I think, like you say, when he gets his hand on the table, he probably is the best at taking a finish out.
Not sure where he's played that or what he played on there. I think, like I said, I think he did play on this plant because it does go, but it's not ideal from there, is it?
No, he hasn't played that well at all. Because it's not just a straightforward plant that he has to catch the side of the ball over the pocket, and he's clipping back at it. It's very missable. Might even play the one over the hole.
I would play the one over the hole, and I would just kick the yellow up the rail.
Kick the yellow, that's what I was going to say, because it's free in that hole and he's guaranteed to be on the other one.
Yeah.
He has to hit it very thin, obviously, with a lot of side. Don't like this shot here.
No, and the thing you need to remember is this ball over the pocket, if he doesn't get it, isn't necessarily any good to you. He's played it really well.
Yeah, good shot.
I was just going to say he was almost certain to miss this finish after we'd been bigging him up, saying how good he is with his hand on the table, but he's played a good recovery shot there.
I think he's just happy to be fit again, because the last tournament I seen him, he had a bad bout of conjunctivitis, and couldn't open the eyes right at all. He was struggling very badly, but he won a beauty competition with it too. fair play to him, even though he wasn't at his beautiful best. He still
signed a bit of a signed a modelling deal off the back of it. I heard.
He got a few agencies involved, and I think he's going to come out on top. He's doing well at it. So fair play to him. I hope that goes well for him.
I think your post on Facebook helped him out a lot, you know, with the picture.
Yeah. It was he was looking well now. There's no doubt. I think Clint Lanson was actually winning the vote until I stuck that picture up.
Was it? Yeah.
I've sort of done Clint a bit, but.
Walking around the table sort of a few times here, and he's sort of shook his head a few times. And if there's one slight criticism that I've got of Marc, it's at times I do think he gets himself a little bit bogged down by playing a little bit too slow.
Yeah.
And that is a nitpicking sort of thing, but I do think that sometimes you can play a little bit too slow, and what that does is you almost find yourself looking for problems.
Yeah, you find problems that maybe aren't there, but whereas when you're playing a wee bit quicker, you don't see the problems. I think all players go through that at some stage.
Yeah.
You know, just when they're not 100% confident in what they're doing.
And of course the balls dictate that.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, if they're out in the open, of course everyone can run round and pot them pretty quickly. But when they're a little bit tricky, I understand you need to take that little bit extra care. But I think there's a balance of, you know, playing it a little bit too slow. So the reason why he was concerned is if he pots this ball that's in the middle of the table and comes on and off the top cushion, he's just looking there where his tip is now. He wants to pot it in the middle, but he's looking, is the cue ball going to catch the yellow on the way through and snooker him on the black? And if it is, then he needs to obviously play a screw shot into it. So
he needs to land good on this, because if he's too thin on it, he's not going to catch enough of the yellow. So it needs to be very precise, sir.
If he's too thin, can he just drop it in without touching the yellow and have a shot on the black, though?
Don't know.
This needs to bite. This needs to bite.
Needs to swerve that, I think. I don't think he's on this right. He might play it to the top corner.
And what I mean by bite is he played that with left-hand side, and because he played it slow, what happens is the side spin runs out before it gets to the top cushion and then doesn't have time to bite off the cushion. And that's exactly what happened there.
It looks like he must be on it the way he's got down. Unless he's taking it to the top corner.
He's got the butt of the cue in the air, which tells me he's having to dink around it. Look.
But can I get on the black thing? I can't see him getting on the black if he has to dink around it. I think he has to play it to the top corner.
Well, I can tell you that the black does go to the left middle if he's right behind it, so he could take it to the corner if he can hold the cue ball.
Well, you can play the black into the middle where the red's at.
And stun on and off the cushion.
On and off the cushion. I like that shot better than trying to dink around it, because I don't think you can get enough pace on it to get on the black dinking around it.
Oh, he's playing no shot now. He's changed. He's potting this into the corner.
Fancied him to pot that. Tell you what, Darren will be delighted having 2 in-offs from the break, and he's going to be 2-1 up here.
Yeah. I know these are all in the middle of the table, and they're all dot-to-dot finishes, and course, there's no way he's going to miss these other than something horrendous happening with a huge kick or something. But I like that he's playing a little bit quicker already.
It is easy to play quick when it's sort of dot to dot. You know, Marc did have to had a lot of thought put into that finish, whereas Darren hasn't really had much to do here.
Yeah, there's a couple of people asking on the chat, is there a shot clock on this? Yeah, no, there's only there's walkabout referees in the arena here, but there's not a referee for every table, so there's not a shot clock on this. There's only a shot clock on the main arena table, which, as I said, I do think that sort of suits Marc a little bit. Well, I think it suits him. I think if you asked him to choose, he would choose no shot clock, and he thinks it suits him, but I personally think he plays a lot better when he plays a little bit quicker, and maybe when he's forced into playing a bit quicker via a shot clock.
Yeah, because he's got a good pull brain, you know, and he would see the finishes a lot quicker than most of the top players. So
yeah,
it probably does suit him to play a bit quicker, but he does get a wee bit bogged down at times.
Yeah, it was a good break, and you know it's no secret that one thing that's always documented about Farnsworth is for a top player. He hasn't got the best of breaks. He did it that good, and one thing I was actually going to say, and we can maybe notice it on his next break, we haven't got the facility of any replays, is when he set up to the cue ball there, I could see that he was setting up with a load of right-hand side on the cue ball, and he actually did hit the front ball to the right-hand side. Now, I don't know.
Oh
dear.
my God.
Oh, wow.
Really surprised, that one. He's missed more chances in this match than he missed in a season there. Sort of nearly rushed that a bit. Darren can't believe his luck here. The chances that Marc's had, he should probably be 4-0 up.
Sort of decelerated on that one a little bit, Daz. He wanted to have the cue ball in the middle of the table to pop this one into the left corner and just nudge onto the two balls. He's looking now if they pop, but surely he would have checked that before, and from this camera angle it doesn't look like it does, but
Almost. Oh.
well, if the bottom yellow of these two together does pot, he couldn't have put the cue ball in a better place.
Yeah, I think it must the way he's eyeing it up here. He very, very nearly missed that pot.
He's coming around, he's looking at it from both sides.
I think it definitely goes in this.
I think I would be tempted to play it slowly, because even if he gets it over the pocket and bumps the red to the rail, what shot does he leave?
He's dead.
So I think he has got to play this and just play it slow.
Play it slow. We try and sort of
just turn it over slightly.
Turn it over slightly. And like you say, he's kicking the red dead, and he's bound to be on the yellow.
He could screw across and play the plant though as an option like that.
No, he's perfect. He's perfect there.
So after a few uncharacteristic mistakes there from Marc, and like you say, he will be sitting in his chair sort of very disappointed. He's not 4-0 up. He's
had 4 good
3-1
chances.
down.
He's had 4 good chances with them on tables, and he's 3-1 down, so he's had a bit of a nightmare start. Darren will be just, he'll not be able to believe that he's 3-1 up.
And it's not only the scoreline, is it? Because 3-1 obviously in a race to 11 isn't by any means alarm bells, but it's more of the way it's been 3-1.
Yeah, it's the mental,
the balls that he's
side,
missed.
The chances he's had, he knows he should be 4-0 up, and Darren knows he should be 4-0 down. It's a big.
Obviously, single ball potting would be one of Marc's strengths, and obviously he has missed a couple of pots that. Well, certainly the red down the rail was tricky, but you'd expect him to get it. But obviously the yellow he missed first shot there was sort of unforgivable. But it is only 3-1, and it is a race to 11, so there's time. But obviously you can't keep giving Appleton chances like that.
No. He's sticking with this same cue for the break.
Well, he hit that a lot harder and a lot fuller in the face, and he's got an unmissable finish on the yellows.
Yeah, this is could be slipping away from Marc here very quick if he doesn't stop missing balls.
If he just does need to place some sort of cannon into the black, and you can see he's pointing there because he obviously does. It doesn't go into any of the middles. He was looking at potting this yellow first shot and just screwing up and just flicking the red. If he flicks the yellow, that'll flick the black. That was the concern. Playing it first shot there, he could only land on this ball. And he is on it in a fashion. 2 options.
He has to come around 3 cushions.
3 cushions with running side, which will be right hand side on the cue ball, or just soft screw it over to the cushion and take one of the 2 balls long into the left corner.
I think he's maybe a bit thin on it to do that. What's he doing?
He's playing the shot we said.
Yeah.
Played it nice.
Yeah.
He'll be happy with the kiss as well, because the one he's just bumped into now goes into the right corner. He hasn't looked at it yet, but he will play that. There you go, he's just spotted it now. Stopped in his tracks. He has to play the one into the right corner now.
Yeah.
He has no option. He definitely won't play the one into the right middle.
I think he'll probably play it and come down for the one to the middle.
Yeah, he'll just screw back on and off the side cushion and leave an angle.
And the other one to the middle will be his last ball.
See where he's pointing there? He just wants the angle to drift down, so he'll pop this screw on and off the side cushion. Oh, just jabbed at that a little bit, didn't he?
No, he didn't get through it at all. He's still all right. He doesn't want to be straight in this.
No, he doesn't, and he definitely doesn't want to be on the off angle.
Yeah, and
he needs to be like almost to the left side of the black, doesn't he?
He nearly needs to stun into the black or get very, very close to it, and then there's a danger of him snookering himself. So he's actually played a really bad shot there, because he could have screwed straight under the cushion and come off, and then he was guaranteed to be good on it.
I think
he's maybe even taking the one to the corner now. That's all right.
I think one thing he is doing is, look, you know, he is a very, very intelligent pool player. You know, he's got an amazing 8-ball brain. That's what he grew up playing, and what he is doing is, I think he understands his strengths and weaknesses at the minute, and he knows anything that's tough with side or anything, you know, he's got to do where he's got to maneuver the cue ball around the table. He doesn't fully understand where the cue ball's going, so what he's trying to do is he's just trying to keep close control of the cue ball as much as he can. And not move the cue ball around. You know, he's just trying to play little stuns and screws, because he knows when it gets a little bit complex, he doesn't quite understand where it's going.
Yeah, he's trying to keep center of the ball. Even this, he's just pulled up and off there. It's such a margin for error there, and he's nearly landed the one place that he was going to struggle to pot that.
And it is obviously a race to 11, and although 4-1 isn't sort of alarm bells, it's not ideal, is it?
No, it's getting to the stage now that Marc has to win one, because if he goes 4-5 or 6-1 down, he's really going to struggle to get back into it. Where 4-2 is not a big margin, but when you go 5-6-1 down against a player like Darren that knows the game so well, you're going to struggle to get back into it.
If you do want to check the scores of any of the other matches, obviously Q Score, it's got all the live updates. All the tables have got tablets, so as long as the players are updating the scores as they win or lose, then you'll see it live. Just a quick shout out to, just quickly let me show you the break here. So what I noticed last time was Marc set up with right hand side on the cue ball, and you see that there, Ronan?
Yeah,
the cue ball to the right hand side, look,
yeah.
the cue to the right hand side.
Yeah. It's a strange situation, not, is it not?
See, there's a lot of side, isn't there?
Why?
And he's straight, he was in off
very
again.
lucky. Been very lucky. Because with the side on it too, it was definitely taking it in. To that
and this is not nice, obviously. This is an open table until he pots a ball. And he's got a horrible first shot.
Can I snip that yellow hand? No.
No, it's on the knuckle.
Can I screw into it? Maybe?
So I think he's got like a two-way shot here. I think he can play a plant into the middle and screw the cue ball onto the one over the hole.
Yeah.
So he's looking there.
Plant looks very close.
I think the plant's very close, and I think as an extra security, you could dig down on it and try and pop the one over the pocket as well.
Yeah, because he's nearly guaranteed to be on, have a shot at the
have
one
a shot
down
at
the
something,
table.
And the Reds are not great, are they? So this is a big shot, really, in the context of this match. I sort of feel as though he has to get this.
I feel like he has to win this frame.
Good shot.
He's got away with it.
Good shot.
I think he was trying to screw in the other one too, but
I think he sort of felt as though he couldn't miss that plant. I think it was dead set.
Well, he's good now. If he doesn't get these, I think he's going to end up sitting on me tonight.
Do you play the plant now? First shot down the rail?
I think so. He wants to leave these three probably down the table to the last three, so play the plant now.
Just because he's got a good angle, which means the cue ball comes out, doesn't it, from the plant?
Yeah.
I think I would play the plant now.
Yeah, well, it's unmissable. He's probably going to play. Suppose if he drops it in, he's always got the option of the one to the other corner. But
You know, I said about when you've got an easy finish, I think it's just important to sort of rattle the frame off, and I understand he's 4-1 down, but I think you've just got to sort of get on with it a little bit, haven't you?
it's all right, sure. Came very, very close to being 5-1 down there. If he had went enough from that break, he was more or less guaranteed 5-1 down. So it does go to show you need a wee bit of luck no matter how good you are. He's back to 4-2 now, whereas if he goes in off, he's 5-1 down. Wee bits of run of the ball, and just turn
fractions.
matches like that.
And Daz is sticking with the BK rush. Just a quick shout out to obviously the main sponsors of this event, HomeLeisureDirect.com. Check out their website for, well, they do a load of amazing things for the house. Not only pool tables, there's a lot of different stuff. Supreme pool tables, obviously make the table that you're seeing. They do a great job, and they're obviously the leading English 8-ball table manufacturers. K8.com, whenever you fancy a bet, get online. Strachan, obviously this new cloth that you're seeing. Aramith the balls. Jason Owen Hughes. And Jed Ronan, who's the other bookmakers. If you want to bets, accumulators, speak to Jed. Much better break from Daz.
Yeah, it's caught them good.
Caught him good because you see the cue ball come back in a straight line, which means he hit the front ball straight.
It's got to be yellows. There's a good chance here.
Yeah, definitely be yellows. Yeah, and there's a couple of people on the live chat, you know, that are saying, making quite a valid point, I think, of saying that it doesn't sometimes do you a favour having had the bye in the first round, coming on against somebody that has played a match. And I do sort of agree with that point. It's nice to obviously not have that first match, but having had the match and come through it, I definitely think you're at an advantage coming on against somebody that's cold, especially on brand new tables like this.
Well, yeah, but having said that, Mark was in last night, and you know, he had a knock on the tables last night, so he probably knows the speed of the tables and stuff. But I know what you're saying.
But you
it's
know,
always nice to get a match.
Nice to get a match, isn't it? Because look, it doesn't matter how much you practice, and you know, it is. There's no substitute for the match practice, is there? And
no.
The feeling of a match, and obviously Darren was behind in his first match, and you know, he's felt the pressure. It is a big difference. And it's all right, people coming on saying rubbish, everyone wants a bye. Well, you don't really understand, because of course you want the bye, but we're saying once you've won that first match and everyone's at the same stage, you're at a disadvantage. That's the point, really. But a little bit to do with the cue ball after he pots this. He's going to be taking...
I don't like the way he's went for this finish. I really don't like this pattern here at all. Because you can't surely leave this bottom ball to get on the one down the rail.
Well, he's just going to leave it in a way where he tops on and off the top cushion.
I don't think it would have been my choice.
He can't get direct to it, can he? But
no, but it's just...
well, he doesn't want to leave it too high either, because that means he has to play with a lot of side now.
I think it's nice to run on and off the cushion, but I don't think it would have been the last two balls I'd have been wanting to leave, but everybody sees it different. Played it well.
He's just pulled up and made it a little bit nasty. He's got the two reds to the left of the black as a buffer.
He's just going to run into them.
So it's almost just concentrate on the pot, isn't it? And just...
If he catches 1-2 full, he could end up in behind the other one. He has to play a shot here. Or even if he clips the black, he could snooker himself. No, it's perfect. Played that well.
Seeing it's little shots like that he left there on his penultimate ball, where he had to just play it with a lot of left-hand side, that in his first match he just did not look comfortable getting anywhere near those sort of shots. Where, you know, the more he's growing into the matches, the more he's sort of, you know, remembering how the cue ball used to play, and it is a long time ago for him since he played English 8-ball properly. You know, I know he's played in a few of these events, but it takes time.
There's been a few big upsets in that first round. Neil Rayburn got out, so that's a massive shock. And Greg Batten was another faller. There's a few shocks going on.
You just see the right-hand side again here. He's getting on the cue ball. Look,
Yeah,
he actually sets up with a load of right-hand side, and I don't think he's deliberately doing
no,
this.
No, he can't be deliberately doing that. He's getting the ball, but he's getting them good.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't actually hit the cue ball with right-hand side because it doesn't spin.
But he just sets up.
He sets up with right-hand side, and then he cuts across it a little bit and obviously hits the middle.
Strange. Well, whatever it is he's doing, it's working because he's been getting the ball there every time. Just a wee bit short in that one, is he? Maybe have to run into the yellow here. Oh, is it just okay? Just cutting this back a wee bit.
Yeah, I think he can just kill the cue ball.
Just hold, can
I think
he?
he can just kill it, yeah. He's obviously got to get quite low on the cue ball and just dab it, but I think he's just okay. Hit that nice. And it's one of those where Marc started off a little bit edgy, but as the match goes on and it gets towards the end of the match, I expect there to be less mistakes, and I don't think you're going to see too many from now.
He lifted his pace in that clearance a wee bit. It wasn't just as slow. He looked a bit more purpose with him there.
Yeah.
Around the table. So yeah, maybe he did start off a bit edgy and taking his time too much, whereas now he's maybe seeing them a bit better.
He's definitely hitting the break a lot better than he did in the first match that I commentated on. So far, good call to stick with the break cue.
He's going to be going yellows here. If we can pot the one down beside the triangle.
Yeah, so just to let you know that you can't obviously hit the yellow and plant the red into the middle. You have to basically hit the ball or hit the suit that you're going for. Just jacking up a little bit.
Probably stun this one in on the triangle and then play the one to the middle and kick the red away, and that leaves everything open.
There's a lot. Sorry, we're on a lot of big guns in action.
So talking about jacking up, see Mr. Whelan just back from Vegas there.
Yeah.
Ronnie himself.
Yeah, we got the director Whelan just back from Vegas. He's waiting to go on, and there's a lot of big guns in action out there. If you want to check the scores, you can see it all on Q Score. Phil Harrison's playing, Gaz Hibbert's playing, Ben Davies is playing, Mick Hill's playing, Jordan Shepherd's playing, Carl Morris.
Every table you look at there's quality. It's definitely some build.
Yeah, this is a big session, especially I think with the players that are in this session. Dan Davey is on.
Rob Chilton playing Chipperfield, another good game. There's a lot of, once you get through that first round, there's no real, big odds on shots. It's all pretty hard matches once you get into the second round.
Josh Kane is playing. Nice guy, and seems to sort of go around the table with a nice manner, young kid, and one to watch out for coming up. So just as we're running around the players that are playing, Appleton's chalked another one on the board, and he's going to restore his 3-frame gap.
Certainly got the break working after them first two. He's definitely got it working now. I think Marcus maybe missed the boat here. Them first 4 frames when he had all the chances. He might not get too many more now.
It's looking that way. This tends to what happens, isn't it? Like the pool gods, if you like, punish you. You miss the chances early on, and then you sort of start to feel okay, as Marc does look good now. And it's a question is, will he now get enough chances to win?
And that's it. You usually don't, and when you miss your chances, I suppose you sort of deserve, to lose as such. But it's a strange one. He's got one again, but surely he's not hitting them the way
he sort of completely missed the front ball, and then he hit the front ball and then almost cut broke him from the front ball.
Yeah.
And what's incredible is, I mean, if you look at the yellows, okay, I know he's got one trickiest yellow that doesn't go into the right middle, but it goes into the left middle and it goes into this bottom corner.
I think he'll definitely settle for that the way he hit them. That's the thing that's so baffling about the break. You see somebody really crunching them as good as they can hit them and not getting the ball, and then you see somebody hitting them so poorly and getting the ball on them.
So someone's asked on the stream, did you manage to get your queue around the airport?
Well, it was a bit of a wind up, in all honesty. I'm too experienced to come away without my queue, but there was a lot of sort of suckers fell into the trap.
Yeah, because it's not, that wouldn't be like you at all, would it, to forget your cue or do anything silly like that?
No,
that would be completely out of character.
It was actually me that got Declan to post just to get the likes of yourself and Farnsworth and them at it, and of course you all jumped in feet first. So.
No, I never believed it.
Oh, you were straight on the phone to me.
I never believed it once that you'd do that.
Well, strange. I got a phone call off you 10 minutes after the post went up.
I was just checking that you was okay, because I
Yeah.
know obviously you travelling about is a danger in itself. Well, if this does go into the right middle, then, well, that's a massive bonus. That just makes it...
Oh, it can't go. It can't go.
No, just the way he played that shot as if it does.
What's he played there?
Well, that's why I just think it does go, the way he's put the cue ball.
Well, I'm looking at the table here. I'm sort of behind it, and I'm 99% the yellow doesn't go to the middle.
Well, then that's a strange positional shot, isn't it?
It's a terrible shot. He could have put the cue ball anywhere there, and he's put it the one place he sort of didn't want to be. I don't know what he's played on. Very, very strange choice.
Can you presume that this one now goes into the corner, does it?
Yeah, it has to, the way he's played this. If it does, I suppose all he has to do is pot this one, and he's got game, but strange way to go about it. Yes, okay. Can I hold here? Is he holding on the red, or is he sliding by it? That's fine. He's definitely walking around the table with a lot more purpose, but it's just whether he gets the chances now or not.
He still looks quite focused to me though, Mark. He doesn't look like he's certainly anywhere near close to throwing the towel in.
Yeah, no, I fancy him to not to miss any more finishes. Just looking at him, I think he won't miss any more, but it's just a matter of whether he gets the chances or not.
Lost the cue ball, and last couple of breaks have been the story of getting away with bad breaks, really. You'd have to argue that Daz maybe deserved that after Marc hit such a bad break last time and made one, so all you can do is hit the break as well as you can and hope you get one. There's no given.
I think he's actually very good if he can pot a yellow here. I don't know if one of these yellows go to the middle or not, but if he can, they're sitting good.
sitting behind this, and the hour that's in the middle of the table, sort of closest to the cue ball, if you like, the one he's playing now, it does go, but it's very tight. And that's why he's played the plan, because it was very tight, and that's a good shot. When the balls are like this, obviously you never expect any of the top players to miss, but they're only easy, and they only look easy if you take the balls in the right order and put the cue ball in the right place. Then they can be made to look unmissable. But if you take the balls in the wrong order and, you know, finish just out of position, slightly the wrong side of balls, then they can be missed. One thing that is noticeable is, all right, he had a tough first shot to play here, Daz, but he seems to, as though he's just slowed down a little bit. He's just slowed the pace. Look, he knows the importance of, obviously, these frames now, and I don't know if it's if he gets these. I think it's more like when he gets these, he's going to restore his 3-frame cushion again. I like taking the one in the middle of the table into the corner here, just if he hasn't got enough angle.
Well, that's a shot out of play there, because he's got the yellow to the other middle now, and then the one to the right middle for the black. Don't know how he's playing this one. But it shouldn't matter, but it's unmissable, the other one.
The round of applause you might have heard there was from the arena table behind us, which is Malin against Singleton. To be honest, I haven't got the Q score running live in front of us, so I'm not sure what the score is there, but if you do want to check it out, you can go to Q score.
It's actually 5 each with Chris and Callum.
Good break. Good break again.
Yeah, and he controlled the cue ball well there.
Took a little bit off that as well,
Yeah,
I think.
He did, but he caught the cue ball. He caught it well.
So, just to give you a quick update on scores. Phil Harrison 5-1 against Rich Wharton. Zach Cooper, Stefan Racidi 6-all. Jimmy Croxton, Ben 40, 6-all. Malin Singleton 5-all. Hibbert 4-3 up against Matthew Schofield. Chilton 9-4 against Chipperfield.
It's good score for him. I thought that would have been a very close match.
Josh Kane 6-2 against Dylan Newlove. Ian Alley 5-3 up against Sean Story. Mick Hill his 6-4 down to Chris Day. Jamie Graham is 2-1 down to Declan Brennan. Boys and Thompson 2 each. Passini, Morris 2 each. And Jordan Shepherd, Ben Tanover, who just started 2-1.
Mark's found himself in a wee bit of bother here. He's kicked the ball and it haven't come out good for him. So he's going to have to play a good pot here to this bottom corner to stay in this match. So if he goes 8-4 down, I don't see any way back.
Thanks to the guys that were posting the scores for us on the live chat. We managed to get the Q score up.
It's a big shot in this match.
And it's a tough shot, isn't it? Because he's got to play it with a little bit of left-hand side.
It's a great shot. Great shot.
It's a really good shot. And
well.
He wants to take those two out probably anyway, but in the context of this match, that was a really big shot.
He's played it really confidently, bringing the cue ball down the angles.
I think he had to play it with a trace of left-hand side there, you know, to
because
avoid the middle.
I think the natural angle was to go in after the middle in that big pocket. Played a great shot. He's perfect now. It's actually been a very good standard since the first 4 frames.
It has, like both players have almost held serve, haven't they? Every time they've broke, they've made a ball and cleared. Like I said to you, very good shot as well. Couldn't have put it better with his hand.
Oh, maybe just if it had bounced an inch or two, is it?
No, he can just drop this in. It's perfect, I said I didn't fancy any players to make any more mistakes. I think it was a bit of the start of the match. Certainly Mark a bit edgy, but after those couple of mistakes, it's been faultless from both of them. Like I said, it's just a matter of will Mark get enough chances from here on in to win the match.
Is he kicking into this red here?
No, I just drop it in.
Oh, I can't.
See Mark has Sky Lounge there on the back of his top. That's his own club that he's recently opened up in Sunderland. It's doing really well.
It's doing really well considering the two boys between himself and Davy Ball have probably only got 3 or 4 brain cells between the two of them. So when you take that into consideration, especially David, like, Big Ray, there's a wee bit of knowledge about him, but David wouldn't be the cleverest boy in the world.
So getting to the point now where it is panic stations if you don't get rid of that 3-frame gap. So he has to start making headway into that, and he's been through no fault of his own since the start of the match that Appleton's kept that 3-frame, but he's getting to the point where that swing of 3 frames and 1 frame is massive, so he needs a dry break here from Daz. And he took a lot off that as well, Appleton. That was like a little stun shot.
Again, they're very good. One tricky red.
And is it even a tricky red if he plants it onto the ball over the pocket?
Yeah, if he's getting it down, if it goes down by the yellow, he's got a big open pocket for it.
I'd say I'd noticed that Daz had just slowed down a bit. I know that the last finish he had was, certainly the first shot was a little bit tricky, but just making sure that he sort of analyses every option. But I think his best option is that he goes reds and plants his awkward ball onto the one over the corner.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of work to do here. It's definitely not an easy clearance.
No, there's not, but I do think that, you know, this is bordering on too slow. You know, I personally, you know, do love the shot clock, and yeah, there isn't one on this table, but I do think, you know, he's probably took, what, 3 or 4 minutes here.
Yeah, I think he knows the importance of this frame. I think he knows he has to stay like 2-3 frames clear, because if Marc gets back within 1 and Marc's breaking well, it's probably going to be level very soon if he doesn't get these. But he has took a long time over these. And still going. Bit surprised at that choice, to be honest. He has to hit this well to get out. Just got there.
Yeah, he has, but he'd have liked to have cleared both of these reds first, wouldn't he? And
Yeah,
now he's going to have to leave the bottom one.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he looking at playing into the yellow here? Holding for the
I
one
think
to the
even
corner.
if he plays it at a pace where he just slides past it and lands on it there where his tip is now, he's okay.
Just missable.
It's 2 inches further than where he held his tip. But I feel as though he still has to play it now.
Can I hold for the other one?
The white may just even flick the yellow, but with the right hand side he can kill it.
He's played it well. Good shot. Played that perfect.
I have to say, a complete contrast of Appleton from a few hours ago in his first match. Not only the way he's playing, but just the way he looks. He looks so much more comfortable around the table. He looks like where the cue ball's going, and he just generally just doesn't really look like he's going to make a mistake at the minute.
That was actually a pretty good clearance, considering that it was tricky.
Yeah, and it was a good clearance, but it was made to look easy, wasn't it? Because
it was,
you know, he just, you know, all right, he took a long time at the start, but once he'd sort of planned his finish, he didn't take much time really.
No. took from Marc there, and he's took these well. They were all on, but he's struck them all in nice, no problems.
And he's basically saying to Daz, "You're going to have to beat me.
Yeah.
I ain't going to give it you."
No.
And to be honest, from the first
First four
four
frames,
frames where Marc obviously missed a couple of chances, I don't know if there's been a frame where it hasn't been a break and clearance, has there?
Yeah, it's been very, very good, very good. Rob Chilton just through against Chipperfield. Good win, 11-6.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the price of that match was, but I imagine
it
they'd
was
have
pretty
had.
even.
Okay.
I think it was 5 to 6 your pick. And
probably about right, wasn't it? Close match.
Yeah, because Sean's probably done more than Rob on this tour this year. Rob hasn't really had much success on it at all.
I don't think he's really had much success for a long time, has he? I know he had some time out, but the time that he has been back, I don't think he's done much, certainly by someone of his standards.
No, not compared to certainly what he used to play to a really high level, but he definitely hasn't been what he used to be anyway. But
well, yeah, I mean he beat Tom Cousins comfortably for money once.
Yeah, and he used to he won a lot of tours on the IPA years ago, and he was probably, I think he was in around the #1 player for a year. But I suppose when you take 3 or 4 years out, you can't expect to come back and be as good as what you were.
Just back to the pool there, Daz is at another great break, and he's been lucky because the red has come off the top cushion all the way down and sat in a place where I think he can play it off the black first shot.
Yeah, he can. I think he's good on these reds.
And if you notice, that red was sort of the last ball rolling. It come off the top cushion and ran all the way down the table and literally parked itself in the perfect place for him to play this shot first.
Yeah, because if it stays up another 3 or 4 inches, he can't. I don't really think he can get the finish. Again, it's just those wee centimetres that make the difference.
That's what my lady says as well.
Oh, again, if that runs another inch, the bottom red will not go. He's good on it now. This game is over too. He just can't break the Appleton serve now at all.
Neither of them looked like missing. No. And I had a feeling that it would be that way. I think I called that from sort of 4-3 or 5-3, that I just didn't think there'd be many more mistakes in this match. But they both just look unbelievably comfortable now. So I think even the trickiest of finishes they're going to get. It's just basically what happens from the break from here on in.
Yeah.
I think he got a kick there.
He's fine.
He is, but I think he got a kick and it just chucked the cue ball wide, and that's why it's left it close to the cushion.
good break from Marc.
And the yellow that was the last ball rolling in this frame has gone in an awkward place. The last ball that was rolling in the last frame actually helped Appleton, and the last ball rolling in this frame has actually hindered Marc.
I think we should still be okay.
I think he'll still be okay, but if that ball pulls up a little bit shorter and does go,
yeah, it's nearly unmissable.
Yeah, he's got no shot to play. I think he'll play the shot first shot into the left middle. I'd be playing the one into the left middle, wouldn't you, and just bump your bad ball out.
It's maybe a bit finer than. Doesn't look that fine. He's going to play it now, I think.
You might be able to hear all the noise there in the background that's coming from the arena table. That's the Malin Singleton game.
It was 7-6 to Callum.
That's 7-6, and I think he may have just won another, so that's either 8-6 or... So that's close, and Callum's got a lot of support. If you want to tune into that, that's on the other stream.
He's played a good shot there. It frees it to probably either corner. If the black's not going, there's a case for playing the bottom yellow and kicking the red out of the way here at the freeze this bottom pocket.
Yeah, no, it's a good call. And even if it's tight, there's a case for playing that in there, just so it isn't tight anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what he's looking at.
I think it probably does go, but it probably is tight. So if you're right behind it, you're never going to miss it. But played exactly the shot that you called there.
I think he has to maybe stand up into the red in the middle of the table now.
The cue ball's close to the rail, isn't it? Is he okay?
No, he's okay, he can jack up, but I think the natural angles to run into them two reds, which he doesn't want to do. I think he'll probably kick into the red in the middle of the table. When you're kicking in the balls, things can go wrong, and he's okay.
Yeah, he's actually perfect, isn't he?
He's okay. He definitely didn't play into that gap.
No.
You know, he hasn't hit that right, but he's come out good.
So yeah, people on the live chat are saying Singleton's 8-6 up, Mickill's 9-6 down. So the other matches that are going on out there at the minute, there's maybe a few shocks on the cards. I think Phil Harrison is still winning comfortably.
Yeah, he was 8-1 up or something the last time I seen it, so I think he's comfortable.
It's a bit of a strange route, this one, isn't it, to be taking this?
I think if he plays the other one,
he's actually played it perfect. Very, very good shot, this.
I actually think I like that shot, because if he played the other one, he had to kick into the red and he was leaving it plumb straight, and then he was going to have a hard
but
black.
when he had 3 balls left, this wouldn't have been his route.
No. But it was when he tried to kick into the red in the middle of the table and he had to change the whole pattern.
No, but after then, I think if he pots the one he potted and comes up this side and leaves an angle,
yeah,
and then pots the one last.
Yeah,
so when he had 3 balls left, but Of course, you don't always put the cue ball where you want, so you have to change the route. You have to be able to do that, and that's what he's done. And, you know, let's be honest, this has been an amazing standard.
Oh,
Forget about those sort of first few frames where Marc missed a couple of chances, and, you know, those couple of chances are proving to be the difference still.
Yeah, and it could end up the difference unless Daz's break lets him down here. It's looking very like they're going to run the match out.
Another big break from Appleton. Hit him good again.
One problem,
and if he lands good, he may have the perfect angle to develop that problem, and if he hasn't, he can play the double.
Yeah, I like the double here. I can't see him missing those. He's taking a long time over this one. It seems pretty.
Yes.
You'd imagine if he's done the cue ball just where he's at there, he's a natural angle to double on and
get the cue ball back onto the side cushion.
Yeah.
I think it's getting a little bit sillily slow at times.
Not too sure about that shot at all.
I think what his thought process there is that, you know, certainly given that these tables are brand new, the cloth's brand new, they're playing slippy, I just don't think he thinks he can miss the ball down the rail.
Yeah. Well.
And if he fancies that more than the plant, then who's to say that's than the double? Sorry, who's to say this is the wrong shot?
Yeah, well, everybody their own. But
yeah, each to their own. You know, if he prefers to play this down the rail, as opposed, no doubt Phil Harrison would have played the double.
Yeah. Still fancy him getting it down the rail,
you know,
I think most players would have just played it down.
He's very good at the doubles. Appleton's comfortable playing up the rails, and I don't necessarily disagree. Well, he's left this at distance. I don't necessarily disagree with the shot so much.
I just think this is a far harder shot than
the double,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's definitely a case for that, isn't there? Well, it definitely is a harder shot now, isn't it?
It's got to be. That's. still fancy him getting it, but it's a lot more missable. I would never fancy him to miss that double. You know, if he's on it proper, just you never see him missing it. That ran out, was it? The standard continues. There's only one more breaking dish to do, and he's home.
Oh, I'd like to check the stats on this from 3-1 maybe, 4-2.
Yeah,
from 3-1. Yeah, from 3-2 maybe, something like that. Anyway, from the within the first 5 or 6 frames, every frame has been from the break.
I think it's their last 6 breaks each has all been break and dish.
And you're not going to see too many better standard matches than this. And I did say that this is complete chalk and cheese from Appleton's first match. So fair play to him. And I did say on his last match also that I do think he does find a way to win. Whatever Q Sport discipline he's playing, he does find a way. And that's what all great players do, in fairness. And look, this match is not over. It's only one dry break from Daz and balls off the break from Marc in the next 2, and it's level. So as quickly as it's 10-7, it can quickly be 10-all. Marc still looks up for it in his face, just watching him. He's still going through his sort of pre-shot routine and still doing things exactly the same, which I like. Miss hit the front ball and cut it, and this time he hasn't got away with it. And look at the yellows.
Yeah.
Landed a little bit awkward because he's bridging over the ball that's in bulk, and he would have liked to pop that and stun off the top cushion and just leave that channel, the cue ball in the channel of the reds to pot his awkward ball on the left. I'm not sure he can dig down on the cue ball and see that way he's pointing his cue now. That's the channel I'm talking about, but I'm not sure it's as easy to get. I think he can get the cue ball in that channel, but he'd like to be close to it. So I think he's just taking his medicine here and just dropping it in.
Oh, has it gone too far?
Yeah, he has gone too far because he's
still got an option for this one to the corner bag, which isn't the worst option in the world.
Well, he had a bit of a moan, and then he's got down and had another look, and
it must be on it, otherwise.
I think the fact he's just sort of moved something away from the cue ball that was on the cloth there tells me that he's still on it and he's still going to play it, but he's setting up looking at the one you said, that's the one that's just above the blue spot. If he doesn't take the awkward one, then he will be playing the one you said, which is the one in the middle of the table. I think he can get through to this. I think he's done a Phil Harrison on us here, milked it.
Yeah, he's certainly planning it. So. Well, it's not one you want to be swerving at because it's a hard enough pot.
No, he's okay. Oh, he isn't. He is digging down a little bit. Oh,
Surely it's not the shot.
I'll take it back. Maybe he has got to turn it over.
If he has to turn it over, surely he takes the one in the middle of the table.
Yeah, he is.
Because he's still got a good chance of finishing from this.
Ooh, wriggled in.
He's landed good here because he can take the one to this corner and go up for the bad one now.
And you see the red that's almost on the balk line in the middle of the table. Use that as your target.
Yeah. Anywhere near it.
Anywhere near that, and you're up really.
I'm confused here now.
Oh, that is a bit of a strange shot choice, isn't it?
So he's gone up for it now.
So he's going up for it now.
Yeah, I thought he would have gone up for it the last shot because he had the one to the middle. But I suppose he'll still have it there, but I think it's harder to get on now.
It's definitely harder to get on because he's got to play it 2 rails with left-hand side. But he's played it good.
Short?
He is short slightly.
Can I double it?
Yeah, and I think he took the balls in the wrong order a little bit there, didn't he? Which is the reason why he's... Because the other way, he had the perfect red to aim for as the target.
He certainly hasn't got a full pocket for the double. You know, it could clip off the yellow and kick the yellow dead. Or
is the cue ball not too low for the double?
Might be. It might be. He's still looking at clipping it in. Looks very thin on the screen.
Ooh, and I did say that one dry break, and well, it wasn't a dry break, it was a miss, but obviously Marc is going to clear these. And to be honest, that's the first ball that Appleton's missed in this match, I think.
Yeah, because he didn't really miss any.
He didn't miss anything early on. It was Marc that made a few mistakes, but I think that's literally the first mistake he's made.
Yeah.
So, you know, this was the 18th frame, and that's the first mistake that Daz has made.
Yeah,
it's a tough score.
That's very tough. He's given Marc the one, the get out that he needed, because you know it was looking very much like it was all over, and all of a sudden, Marc's not the type of boy you want to give a second chance to. One good break from Marc here, and it could be, or is it Daz's break next? Yeah, Marc broke dry there.
Yeah, it's Daz's break. That's what I said. So Marc was going to have 2 breaks, and Daz have 1 for him to get back to 10 each.
Yeah. So there's a bit of pressure in this next break of his.
Oh, it's a big break. It's a big break at a big time.
Yeah, that's it. Yellows.
And
He's not missing them.
I think that's all she wrote, ladies and gents. And I have got to say that, you know, given the standard has been unbelievably high, and those couple of mistakes that Marc made, I know we've mentioned it a few times, but it has been the difference.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, Daz has only missed one ball, and that was in the last frame, and the standard that he's played at, you know, you couldn't really argue that he's deserved to win the match.
Oh, definitely. If you only miss one ball in a match, you sort of deserve to. You're going to be very hard to beat.
In this situation, obviously, he had quite an easy finish to start with, and I personally prefer to, you know, especially in a frame where it's like this, to get the win. I personally prefer to get on with it a little bit rather than think too much about what you're about to do and what it means. You know, I think, I'm not saying rush and be careless, but I think if you take too long, you can look for problems. Personally, I'd rather play a little bit quick and.
Oh, it's just okay. Another couple of inches there, and I was trouble. Oh,
Ooh, is he on it? No, he snuck it himself. See the look on Appleton's face because he potted the yellow thin.
Yeah. Is he not on it? No, definitely.
And, well, by the look of Appleton's expression, he looked up to the ceiling.
I think he can turn it over. I think he can pot the ball.
No, he can't.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
All of a sudden.
Wow, that's massive.
All of a sudden.
Wow.
It's just amazing how it goes. He gets to the hill without missing anything, and then all of a sudden he misses 2 balls and 2 frames. Is he starting to feel a wee bit of heat?
Yeah, maybe started to you know, he obviously hasn't been playing matches, so has he seen the winning line a little bit?
Will he take the ball to the middle here and get the cue ball up?
Yeah, take it and then just glue him into the back of the other one.
Yeah. I don't think he actually needs to pot the ball to the middle. It's just getting the cue ball up in that top corners, I think.
But I think if you try and pot it and then you can really stun him in behind it.
Well, I think if he can, he wants to leave it over the hole, because if Darren comes out of the snooker then and hits the yellow, at least he's got that ball over the hole.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, could leave it over the middle.
He's taking the one up the top. That's maybe why he wants to keep that ball there.
Yeah, good call. It's a good call, but he's left a line here.
He's left a line, but at least he's still got that red to the middle.
He has left a line into it. Too much side. Oh, but he'll take that. He got the double kiss and pushed it over the pocket. He'll definitely take that.
I think the Reds go down inside that maybe. So if he can put this ball to the middle, I think he's got game here. I think there's just enough room to get the Red down inside it. Yeah, I think if he puts us, it's 10-9. They'll probably want to use the one closest to the cushion, put it inside the yellow to free the hole for the other one.
I can tell you that the Mick Hill Chris Day match, I think, is now 10-10. Phil Harrison won comfortably. And see Malin Singleton still playing. 100% sure what the score is there yet, but
I see a question from Pablo Escobar about me playing in the Northern Ireland PA events. I take it that's just the Black Ball events. No, I still playing them. And is there anyone to stop Brennan in the coming years? The answer to that is probably not, no, because he's at the minute he's really hard work, but he's only going to get better. So I can't really see anybody for sort of the next few years sort of being able to stop him sort of dominating the game, and certainly in Northern Ireland, if not in the whole of UK. So the answer to that question is no, I can't. They're still good players. They're still like Gary Clark and Tommy Morrow, but I don't think they've got the dedication at Declan. And
I know you can't speak highly enough of him, and I watched him a little bit yesterday. He actually played Farnsworth in just a flyer, a warm-up flyer yesterday. And he actually beat Farnsworth 6-5, and I actually watched it, and all 11 frames were from the break.
Yeah.
And he does cue the ball unbelievably nice.
Yeah.
So I did watch that, probably the first time I watched him play, and I do think he has got a big, big future.
Yeah, and he's only started, you know, he's only really been playing the game at a high level for about a year. So you can only imagine what he's going to be like in another 2 or 3 years. You know, it's once he gets more experience behind him, you know, he's going to be, he's really hard work at the minute, but he's only going to get better because he lives on the tables in Portadown, which is the best club in Northern Ireland, and he actually works in it. And when he's not working, he's playing. So, and he's one of those lads that wants to learn all the time, and he listens and watches, and you know he's always learning. So he is only going to get better.
And while we were talking there, Marc did get that finish. He did play the ball inside the yellow, and now, well, I don't need to explain how big this break is.
Because Darren did break that last frame, and they broke very well. You know, you're not going to get many better chances than
No, what
had.
happens is when you miss a chance to close the match out, obviously the next one becomes harder and so on. And
Yeah,
Darren's missed a couple of easy chances, well, chances that he should have got.
Considering he hadn't missed the ball in 18 frames, all of a sudden he's missed 2 in 2 frames.
Sorry, apologies on the stream. They said I said it was 10-10 in the Mick Hill game. I got that wrong. It was actually 10-9, and Mick has just lost. I think Mick's just lost 11-9 or 11-10. I think it was probably 11-9. I got the score wrong, so apologies for that.
A good break from Marc there. If he's on this, he is. I can see he's on the red to the corner, so I think this is going hill.
He's on the red. The red next to the black goes.
I know Mick can still come back through the loser section and win this tournament, but the people that paid the over 13,000 for him in the Calcutta will be certainly having a bit of a sweat in their hands now. I'm certainly not writing him off because he's still capable of doing it, but it's a big ask from the first round. It just goes to show you how good a field we're dealing with here when you know you see him get out in the first round.
Marc's played a good shot there, and it might not look like so much of a good shot because he only potted one over the hole, but the reason why I say he's played a good shot is because he's left a good angle on the one that's in bulk. Just to play it with left-hand side and just drift up the left-hand side of the table.
Yeah, this frame's over. It's 10 each. The only thing is it's Darren's break, so. But it's massive. He's already missed 2 big chances to win the match. You sort of think he's going to need something easy in the last frame.
And one thing I will say is I think this match does deserve a decider.
Yeah.
They've both now missed 2 chances each.
Yeah.
And the score in a minute will probably be level. So I think it probably does deserve a decider, and the standard obviously up until the first couple of frames were a bit ropey. The last couple of frames from Darren's point of view were a bit ropey, but other than that, it's been unbelievable.
It's been perfect, Phil, yeah. But you have to say, if it goes to the decider, which probably will, I think Darren's going to need something easy, whereas I think Marc's flying now and it doesn't look like missing on him. Whereas Darren has missed the boat twice, and he will need something probably a bit easier.
So he's going to pot the red, and you can see where he's pointing his cue there. He's going to pot the red into the right corner, and he's going to run through, and he wants to land dead straight on the one into the middle.
Yeah, or even low, where he can just run the red into the middle and flick onto the black.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Anything but the wrong side of it.
Yeah. As long as he goes far enough, he's. Is he just enough?
Is he just the wrong side? He is, you know. He's just.
He's
Oh, that's criminal.
He's played a terrible shot.
Oh dear, he may have to.
He has to play the one to the middle.
Stun through the gap now, yeah.
Yeah, he's got to take the 3 balls to the middle.
But now he needs to be straight on that one, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he does, because he needs to be straight to get on the other one, the other middle. That was criminal. He's played it lovely.
Yeah, he's played it well. He's recovered well. And I think he may have even landed an angle where he can like top onto the side cushion if he needs to.
Yeah, he's topping on and off the cushion. Yeah, he's
played it nice with a trace of right hand side.
He's hitting them well now. He doesn't really look like this anymore.
There's also a huge crowd in now watching the Malin Singleton game.
Yeah. Hell. I think Marc actually probably deserves to win the match now, because Darren's had his 2 chances to win it, whereas Marc hasn't actually had his chance to win it yet.
But he did have his 2 chances early on.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I mean to actually kill the match off to win the match, you know. I know he's obviously missed the 2 balls early on, but when you get 2 chances to win a match and you don't do it, do you deserve a 3rd one? I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
I just think, I know it's the old cliche and it gets, in my opinion, said too often, but this match doesn't really deserve a loser. The middle part, well, 95% of this match has been a fantastic standard, and it will be a shame to have a loser, but you would have to say Daz a slight favourite just because he's got the break.
He's slight favourite because he's got the break, but as far as actually taking the balls out, now I fancy Marc to take them out more than I do Daz, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but he's been around the block a long time. He's won a lot of tournaments. He's been in these sort of positions a long time, as have both of them. And I just think whoever gets the first chance here will win the frame. That's my prediction. I don't think anyone's going to miss any balls here. And he's drew. Oh, I thought he was dry. One flew into the middle, but they're messy, are they?
Yeah, they're messy. They are. They're very messy.
So,
because if he goes reds, he has to. It's very tricky, and if he goes yellows, it's very tricky
and
too.
Your mentality of when you're winning and losing at these rules is very different. So, just sticking a ball over the pocket isn't necessarily an advantage.
No, it's not. It's no advantage at these rules now.
So you've got to be very careful. Darren obviously played a lot of Chinese 8-ball, played a lot of American 8-ball, so he'll be very clued up with the rules. Marc has played some Chinese. He's been down and played me a little bit on the Chinese, so he's familiar with the rules, but he certainly won't be as astute with them as Daz, because when your brain is programmed a certain way, and what I mean is, you know, programmed to, if I put that ball over that pocket, I'm favourite, or if I do this in that certain way, it makes me favourite, and in these rules, that is the complete opposite sometimes. So the reason I'm going on about that really is because that might come into it this frame, because the balls have gone a bit messy.
It's the first real sort of frame that they haven't come out good in a long, long time. And it's just happens to be the deciding frame, so it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top of this one. I think Darren actually maybe needed this type of frame.
So he's playing the clip back on the yellow here, and then trying to hit the other yellow into him and develop everything.
Where's the white? Where's the white?
Oh, he's been unlucky. You'd have to say he's been unlucky, because look where the red's gone.
If it was hard before, it's harder again now.
You'd have to say he's been unfortunate there for the red to flick off the other yellow and push over the middle like that. It was an attacking shot, but these rules make you attack.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
these rules make you go for the finish and make you attack the balls, and that's obviously what he did there, and I do think he's been a little bit unlucky.
And there's no hiding place for him here. He has to go. He has to get these. You know, the way Marc's reds are lying, there's nowhere to hide.
No, and that's why I think he's been even more unlucky, because not only has he landed so awkward, look where he's pushed all of the reds.
Yeah, and he's only got this ball to the middle, and
he can't play the loss of turn shot.
No, there's.
He can, if he pots the one into the middle. There is a finish. There is a shot. He can pot the one into the middle and push the other one.
To kick the other one.
Yeah, push it to the cushion maybe, and then he has the option of potting the one down the rail, playing the double, and playing the other ball in off the red. There is options, but this shot this shot into the middle for me
if
is.
He's got the angle to kick this other yellow. He has a chance.
I think he just needs to sort of brush across the face of it and push it to the cushion like that.
Push it far enough to
so it goes
by the red. Well, he's got a definite chance of it if he can play this shot right, but it's still a big ask to get these at 10 each. Especially the fact that he's missed two.
I do think he'll get very close to the finish if he gets this shot right.
Yeah. No.
Potted it a bit too clean, didn't he?
He still has got a finish on, but he's going to have to leave this yellow down here to the middle, last ball.
Yeah.
You know, to get on the black. It's still there, but it's such a hard finish. If he gets his, he's well and truly earned it.
I like playing this and stunning the cue ball like in the direction of the middle pocket,
over
and then
towards the middle.
Playing on a choice of two balls.
Yeah, gives them plenty of options.
He can either play the one that's next to the red up the cushion, or he can play the one into the corner, then play the one up the cushion off the red.
Yeah.
He's got options then.
It's such a hard finish. This.
See, he's played that shot and he's played it. Oh, he's just maybe.
I think he's all right. He can pot it, maybe kick the
maybe.
other one out.
Yeah, he probably can. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. See if he gets this shot right. I fancy him getting these. Because if he can kick this one out a bit and put the one that's on the cushion into the middle of the red. It's free in that bag.
So he sort of wants. So you're saying he pots the one in the corner, cushion first, a bit of right hand side, bumps it away a few inches, plays it off the red,
and leaves himself a nice wee. If it gets near the blue spot for that last ball to the middle, he's got a lovely wee angle to run down, play the one to the middle, and then the black in the corner. It's all about this shot. If he lands good in this, I think it's over. I don't fancy him if he has to put the yellow down into the corner to get on his last ball, whereas if he gets it to the middle, it's just a matter of running down at the right pace.
Has he even seen the shot? He's sort of walking around a little bit confused, but
I think it's his only shot. I don't.
No, it is his only shot. I'm just saying, has he seen it? Because he's sort of really. I can just tell by the look on his face. He looks like he really doesn't know what shot to play.
Mellon won 11-9.
Yeah, and he was losing there, and I think from what I can hear there, he maybe took a few good finishes out towards the end, and it's tough to beat Malin in that situation, especially because there was a lot of people around that arena table there. You know, it's a Friday night, a lot of people in there drinking and watching, and that's what Malin thrives on.
This is the shot.
So he felt as though he perhaps couldn't play it slow, so he's kicked it and landed on the one up the rail now.
It's just very hard to get on this bottom ball right now. But he's battling. He's giving himself a chance.
Yeah, and obviously he's looking there to play his last ball into the middle there, or.
It's a very acute angle. He has to be.
But it goes into the corner though.
Yeah.
So worst case is he's going to have some sort of shot.
It just needs to get an angle on. Needs to pot this one down the rail and get an angle on the other one to the top corner.
And if he gets this finish, then of course I think Marc will shake his hand and say, "Well played, good finish."
No.
Obviously, if he does miss, Marc's sitting in his chair knowing that Darren knows that if he does miss this, look at where the reds are. He's lost.
Is he looking at getting onto this ball now?
I think he is, yeah, and I'm not sure he can.
Right shot.
Or can he get there?
I don't think it's the right shot to play. Because he has to play the one on the.
He's playing on it.
I don't think he gets him if he plays that shot. He has played it.
But he's short, isn't he?
He's short, but even if he's on it, it's hard to get on. It's hard to get on the other ball, and then he has to get on the black as well.
You know the shot he just played? I thought he could have played it slower and just left the cue ball like in the middle of a table, then potted the other yellow long and screwed back to this back cushion and left it to last.
Definitely the shot, definitely, 100%. He must still be on it. Is he putting us to the middle?
No, he's definitely on it, but
he's on it.
The angle's not nice, is it? He's playing this with right hand side. Oh, what a shot!
He's played a great shot, but it's still not.
He still knows. He still knows the problem with the black.
I'll tell you what, he's put some effort in at this finish. Does the black go to this corner? The bottom right? No.
No. The black only goes to the
top two.
The top two. Well, he's looking if it does now, but it doesn't look like it does from this camera. And if it does, you need to be on a penny right behind it, don't you?
So he has to get down. He has to find the gap between these reds.
You know what shot I like, if it does go into the middle, is you screw it into the middle, obviously the white into the gap of the two reds in bulk, and just come up the left side of the table at a steady pace to obviously slide past it. But even if you nudge the black, you've got a shot. If you hit the red, you've got a shot.
He's either got that option, or he clips it in thin and comes round these two cushions down under the gap.
Is he looking at playing it in the corner?
No,
he's playing
surely
it in the middle.
not. No.
Yeah. He's playing it with running side. You know? Oh no, he's playing it with left.
He's playing your shot.
Oh, he's got a shot. Oh wow. Oh wow.
My goodness.
Oh wow.
He's been very, very fortunate there, you have to say.
Wow, he's flicked the red on the. Well, he flicked the red and bumped the other red.
But he deserves a bit of fortune.
He does.
The finish was
and
absolutely
he's down
ridiculous.
quick on this. You might see a bit of a reaction if he pots this. You know. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Oh dear.
Oh no! After all that.
Oh dear. Oh, he's conceded. Wow.
Oh, what a game! What a game!
Wow.
What a finish!
Wow.
Oh dear. Marc will be absolutely delighted. He conceded too. I know he's not going to miss them, but you still.
Yeah.
You still
you
like
can get a kick or something, can't you?
Yeah, anything can happen. I mean, he might miss them one out every 100, but I would rather have that chance. But what a great game to watch.
And in all fairness, what a great finish up to that black. But you did just get the feeling that Appleton was starting to get a bit.
Very quick.
He did get down very quick. Yeah.
You said he's down very quick here, but you still never ever expect him to miss that after the work he done to get on it. And he got the lucky nudge and everything. You know, once you get a wee bit of luck like that, you think,
you've got to take a step back and take a deep breath there, haven't you, and say, right, because, you know, that was probably the quickest shot he played in the whole match.
Without a doubt. He's panicked, he's rushed it. He's going to miss that one out every 100, really.
So, wow, incredible. But, look, you know, everybody misses balls, and he's been out for a while, and you know, I could see that he started to get edgy towards the end. He missed, as it turned out, 3 good chances there. Congratulations to Marc. Obviously, 10-7 down. I did say he still looked banged up for it at 10-7.
Brilliant one from where he was.
Fantastic win, fantastic performance. And a fantastic match to watch as a neutral, as a spectacle to watch it. So I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as we did. Yeah. There'll be another match coming up here on the stream soon. I'm not entirely sure who it is, but obviously thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.